them they have come here. And they also brought some of their students' drawings, which I can tell you are challenging your drawing. Okay, so right now it is secret. I will not show you. In the end, we will have a competition for the best project, and we will have a good prize. Either it will be some prize of a trip to Ahmedabad or a trip to Trichy. One student will get that prize. Okay, maybe one from each side. Okay. So, now I think all of you have done a very interesting job of modifying the projects to meet the new requirements. Now a few other things we should look at. First of all, I think it rains quite a lot on certain days in that part of the world. Very heavy rain on some days, maybe about 30 mm, 50 mm at one day. Possible. It is possible. So some days of the monsoon are very wet. And just water is falling all the time, and it has to go to the rice fields. And the rice fields are so far away. And a ground slope of maybe about 1 in 200 will take away the water. Less than that, if you make 1 in 300, 400, you'll get puddles of water. 200, so come se come chahiye. 1 in 200 slope. So 1 meter in 200 meters. But now your plot itself is 90 meters. And if we consider a slope of 1 in 180, then the slope from one end of the plot to the other end will be 0.5 meter. But to be on the safe side, we really need a slope of about between half and 1 meter. To bring the water up to the stream, or to get it absorbed in the field. All the water you cannot take away. If it is to get absorbed in the field, the ground there has to be soft. And it has to have enough plants so that the water just doesn't rush away, but it goes and the plants keep it and it percolates slowly. It has to be, in short, not a lawn, but it has to be lots of bushes. Maybe curry leaves, maybe some other things, so many things grow. And so it will have to be a soft green landscape with roots making the soil able to take the water. And then rest of it will have to. So, first of all, your plinth level of the house has to be high enough that it does not get flooded. So what would be a good level? In Ahmedabad we make houses how high from the ground level? Huh? Sorry? From road or from nearby land? How many steps will you have? 3 steps? So that is about how much? 450, 500. Yeah? That is minimum in Ahmedabad. Now if you are in a place like that, which is 1500 millimeters of rain, how high will you make your house so that even if there is too much rain, once you get off the street, you are on dry land and not in water. Your courtyard will be higher than the street or same level as the street? Higher than the street, inside courtyard. And then from there water will go to either the garden or the street. Is it? we are going to think about water as the shaper of buildings. If I want to drain the house and make it dry, and I want to make the garden fertile with lot of vegetables growing there, and the street able to take away the water, I will have to make my house levels in relation. And yet, I don't want to feel when I'm in the house that in order to get out from the house into the garden, I have to go down so much. You don't like that. You like to move gently and go somewhere. So one section I would like you to do, a long one, which can be just a very profile section, showing only ground floor line and roof line and elevation line of whatever you are seeing far away. Showing how the water will be taken. Okay. And whether the shape of your building is creating very complex problems for the water. The roof will shed water. Where will it fall? If it is falling into neighbor's property, he will come and fight with you. So the golden rule is, every drop of water that falls on my land either remains in my land, and excess I put it very carefully onto the public space so that it drains. Ideally, every farmer would like to be greedy about every drop of water. Isn't it? Because you need the water. This is good water. Very good water. But here you don't need to do a rainwater harvesting, because there is enough rain, and if it goes into the ground from a well, you can get good water. Yeah? So you would rather depend on the well than to make, in Ahmedabad you make the tanks for holding the water. But our rainfall is much less. Ours is 700 millimeters, theirs is 1500 millimeters, double the amount of rain. But rain, water shapes buildings. That's one. Second thing I would like you to think about is, does the wind shape buildings? When I make a roof and I make a window, do I position myself in order to catch the breeze? And how will I make breeze come? Huh? Should I hang one of those firkis, and the wind is very tempted to come and move it, and it will come? Or some bells. How will I make the wind come? I want what kind of wind? I want cool wind, dry if possible, but that is beyond my control. How will I make wind move?
Cross.
Cross. Meaning what? So one window on this side, if there is another window on that side, then the wind will at least have an outlet, so it will go out, come through and go. But is there anything more that you can do?
Growing trees in circles.
Growing trees where?
Creating dry spaces and green spaces. Like
Yes.
where there will be dry space, there will be air will move up.
Yes.
So from green space, air will come there and it will create cooling.
So the big the small will be dry paved and the green will be big, or the dry paved will be big and green will be more? Will be small. So you will have places where you're catching the sun. Huh? And that place gets hot. And it has to be on the other side of the house from where the green is. So that the cool air under the trees is tempted, or rather this air is tempted to move up. You know, hot air, it becomes very sort of light-headed and it goes up. Yeah? And then the other air rushes in because there is space. You know, there is a lot of crowding of air in that forest part, and there is more space created by this other air moving up. This rushes. Now, when it rushes, suppose I have just a big space, then it can go anywhere. Suppose I have one opening, it will, and if that opening is same, then it will go, but its speed will not increase. But if I have like this, then it becomes bigger. Then here it comes through, it expands, and the speed changes. You get this like that. So the wind, these are only simple sort of intuitive things with which you can work. So does the breeze shape your wind? Where will you make solid? By solid, what are you doing? You are creating a zone of high pressure. When breeze comes and I have a big object there, I will create a zone, and so it will climb over, pull on that side. Here there will be low pressure. Then if I make a small puncture here, more punctures here, from here the wind will very happily go through and come out. You understand? So it is all a play, like you can try with your hands also. And maybe next time when we come to class, everybody will be whistling with the breeze. I hope that's true. It's okay, you can try out. Most of these things you can understand from childhood games. Climatology helps us to take further what we learnt as children. It formalizes that knowledge. Yeah? So that's good. If it formalizes, very nice. Because then we can apply it. We can explain to a client also. We can explain to somebody else also. But we know it. So use your own senses to find out how to make the breeze shape the house. Yeah? You know, I always used to think that roofs on a mountain, when you make a building, then the wind comes and you have to design for uplift of roofs. And the more your roof sticks out, underneath there is more pressure. So instead of designing for loading, you have to design for it being lifted up and thrown away. But it's nice because it gives you some sense that if I do that, then I can catch some breeze here. There are a number of ideas like that, which you will see in old buildings, you will see in good buildings everywhere. If you see Glenn Murcutt's work, or if you see work of many of the younger architects today who are doing, they are all working with this kind of thought. Did you see the Lee's work? Lee Xiaodong, he showed how in that library that air is flowing. It is a very simple idea. So, see if your building is shaped by the air. Next, is it shaped by the sun? Where do we like to be in sun? Is it Bharti Jyoti in that area? Is there any time in winter when you like to sit in the sun? No. It's never that cold.
It's never that cold.
So it's not like Ahmedabad. In Ahmedabad, you want to sit in the sun in winter. So on south side, you make a space where you can have the sun. With the slanting rays, this balcony is designed for that, upstairs well. In winter you can sit there, it will have sun. And in the summer, because the rays are straight, it will not have sun. But there you don't like to sit in the sun. So all the time you like to be in shade, because the moment sun touches you, you feel hot. And you start sweating and you need breeze. But if you are in shade, then you need less breeze and it's more comfortable. So now, but how strong is your sense of shade? If it is shaded fully, like if there is a wall all around, then that room becomes very stuffy. Because it will be too much humidity in the rainy season. So it needs to have that kind of a room that you can open and the breeze comes and yet there is enough shade. Everywhere in that kind of climate, you like to be in a shaded veranda rather than in a... So that is why their courtyards are so narrow. That is just to create enough air movement, but there is all the time shade. You must have wondered why in those places they don't make a square courtyard like ours. Isn't it? Our courtyard is meant for the winter sun to come right into the house. That courtyard is different. So, that is your building shaped by the sun? Next thing is, now when you put your building, there is another building, third building, fourth building. So a guy who is walking on this corridor on second floor, there is another person walking on second floor or first floor or ground floor there. This one is a boy, that one is a girl, or the other way around. And very good, interesting events can happen. But you want your house to be like that open. And if not, do you think making a 12-meter high wall will do the job? How will you, what will that feel like? I'm trying to look for some line. If I am on the ground floor, I will be in a dungeon, as if I am in prison. So what will I do? If my building is organized like this and half is open to this side, should I do something to that plane or should I put something else? What should I do? Should I plant a tree? What should I do? It's a very interesting problem. So now, what you are going to do is, you will borrow sections of your neighboring houses. In your own section, you will cut sections at 4 places along your length of the site. 4 interesting places. Everyone will do that, and then you will collect from your neighbors, you will put all together. And then you will just stare at your own house and see, does it work? Am I happy? Because in houses sometimes there are fights also. So say he and his father are fighting. He has said some nasty thing to his father. And the next door fellow is looking at out here. You don't want that to happen. You want the house to be something which is yours. Isn't it? No, you want it to be seen. Actually, it can be quite good, but not entertaining for those who are being looked at. For others, it can be very good. So, is your house shaped by the rain? Is it shaped by the wind? Is it shaped by the sun? And what happens when many houses come together? So we asked 4 questions there. What is your relation to the street? What is the nature of the building spaces in between buildings? What is the profile of the building like and does it work well? And what are the quality of the spaces between buildings? In addition to that, we will think of the rain, the sun, the wind, and the cross section. And the land, the slope of the water, how to take care of the process part. So this week you are going to work to perfect your house for all this, whatever you come to. What kind of drawing will you do to show this, that it works? First of all, you have to complete this plan and show the activity. That you have to do, plan and section both. Then, how will you show water? See, water is colorless. So all of you show it as blue, but it is colorless. So you can't show it with blue. I would like you to take plans and sections and take a very thin pen and draw the water. Like that. You understand how it goes from roof to courtyard to outside of the house, then to garden. So you will draw. In fact, I think now it's time that you all made a 3D. How good are you at using SketchUp?
SketchUp.
Are you good at doing SketchUp?
It's not so
You
difficult.
can learn. It's good for you to do it. So make a 3D model in line only, no tones. Single weight line, very patla line. And you can cut a section wherever you want with that. No. You can cut sections. Ah. So no, the rendering will be lines. You will not have any tone inside. Whole plane will be there, but you make all planes transparent to be like. Surface delete कराय तो करो है तो ने राखो है तो है पर black and white just જોઈએ only black and white. Yeah, and you will cut sections. It becomes very easy. That thing will become your biggest friend. Yeah, up to now I have not allowed you to use it, but you use it, and then on that drawing, take an axo or take a view, cut it with showing the ground and all, and then show the rain with your free line, and you will show the textures. What happens with texture and water? Where you have soft texture, meaning lot of fine particles with gaps in between, like soil, the water can go free. But where you have a very dense texture, like granite stone, water cannot go. So the tighter the texture of the material, the easier the water to go. You want the surface to shed the water, make it hard. You want the surface to absorb water, make it full of holes. That's how we do cities. All cities were designed. Why are streets paved? You go to walled city of Ahmedabad, streets are paved because the water can shed. But you don't pave gardens. You leave enough spaces so the water can go into the ground and recharge the aquifer. So right, if you pave up everything, like in many cities now, so much is paved, then water doesn't go down. And they have flooding. Bombay has flooding because they've got too much of paved area. So water is just rushing. Runoff increases. So right balance of paving and not paving. So that's just a side. But all of these things are things that make architecture. Materials are not chosen only because they shine or they are rough or I like it, but they do many things. Suppose an apple was not shining. Real apple. And it had, it was like, I'll tell you, a cake. Cake. So, will there be a difference in when you will feel like eating? When you see that shining thing, you can feel that it is bursting with juice. Yeah? And when you are very hot and thirsty and all. But if I give you a laddu at that time, yeah, please come on. No? Or I give you a muthia when you are thirsty. Don't want it. The texture is connected to liquid and dryness. All textures. Anyway, that is. Every learning is simultaneous. You can't learn first climatology, then the effect of materials, then how light will do. No. All are together. So there is nothing technical and non-technical. Everything is technical also and everything is non-technical. It is poetic also. Remember that. So, how many questions you have? 4 there and 4 here. They are interrelated. So you have about 5-6 questions with which you will keep on looking at your project and tuning it, making it better and better. So what are you will show with these lines? How will you show sunlight? Shadows you could do. But still it's not, actually best thing would be to have a candle and put it in the model and let the air move. You know, we had this wind tunnel here, and Sheikh used to have his whole thesis is on wind movement, so he put his cigarette always inside. But you can put agarbatti and see where the smoke is going. First put a strong sunlight and make shade here, those things like that. That is one way of testing. If you're really interested, try it. It will take time, but sometime you can try it. Just try it. That you put or we used to hang little pieces of thermocol. When the air moves inside the bottle, then the thermocol moves. If you see old climatology books, they will show you this smoke. They don't have agarbattis. They had special equipment with which to make the smoke. We are luckier. We have agarbattis, so they just put it somewhere and let it. The smoke, does it go through or not? And where does it actually go? You have to cut the model in half, put a glass. So that's another way of studying, but we won't have time. But this water one you do, it will correct all the other things. What kind of drawings would you like to make now? Or are you sick and tired of making drawings?
I think this SketchUp model can
SketchUp, I
be
think
used
SketchUp can be a wonderful.
for a lot of analysis
Now,
of
how
this.
many have got computers? And you can download SketchUp free. Yeah? And others can use the machines upstairs. Yeah? Quickly make a SketchUp model, it won't take you more than 1 day. It's very easy. No, it's very easy. Even I can do it. I'm completely stupid with AutoCAD, but SketchUp I can do it. Won't take you much time. have a man here whom you can ask in case you have any difficulties.
We can keep one session if for
We
the
can have
class
one session.
where he can just introduce. There are only some few commands that if he.
Okay. So now, tomorrow is what? Tuesday. Tomorrow we will grade all the work for mid-sem. Yeah? We are giving one more day. Those who have been to 361 can complete their work. Yes? You have been back for 2 days in any case. One more day and it should be done. 3 days you took there. Now 3 days you already got. So cover up. Complete that work. And we then see tomorrow we grade everybody and we'll pin up the grades on Wednesday or Thursday. And then we get into the second part of the semester. It is now a legal requirement of the university that we have to announce the midterm grades.
By Thursday, they should also have the SketchUp.
Thursday you should have the SketchUp model.
So we'll have this session tomorrow, the SketchUp with
SketchUp
Monica.
session will be on tomorrow. Questions?
So can we make changes? We can make changes in plan how to solve problem.
Not too much change. You can circle that and say I got this and it is really
The
bad.
requirements that we
Then I do something. You have to make an application in 6 copies.
Yes, we
For all
will
the
also
teachers
look at
to see.
the entire
It's like Sarkari municipal. Once it is
last
built,
part
you
of
can't
process.
change without
Already we
permission.
have uploaded on the same place.
So you have to ask for permission.
So in this
You will have to
grading, the
give your
more
reasons
focus will be on
for change of
the
use.
requirements.
It will go through all the normal channels. And if all the officers are satisfied,
I think my battery is
then
going.
you might get permission. Barabar ji? Also, the bank manager will have to give a loan for doing that. Because it will cost money to make big changes. So your client will lose 3-4 months. But it's all right, he's willing to wait, but you have to make right application. So anybody who wants to make an application for major changes in the building should make the application by tomorrow. You don't have to give us 6 copies, we can make 6 Xerox copies, but one is enough, but you have to make a formal application. Saying reasons why you need to change. Okay. It has to be a written application.
For what we already did,
No, minor changes is alright, but if it is major, then the inspectors will come and your house will be locked. Property will be locked. Staircase is okay, you have to put staircase sometimes. Removing slabs, removing roofs,
Adding rooms.
taking out some blocks. So if you have done that, then you have to make an application for what is it called? Regularization. You have to make an application for regularizing the change. And for that again you have to give solid reasons why it was so. And if it is not approved, then your property will be demolished. In short, your mid-term semester grades will be very low.
if we are building a new block, there are also
New block is bank manager and corporation both are there.
It will cost money.
problem like the building area is very less than what is actually required.
And so you put that in your application. That FSI allowed is 600 square meters, 650 square meters, whatever. But what was built was only so much. And the requirement of my family requires so and so. So, Sarkar Shri ne everything lakha hai. So you have to apply. You have to apply. You will have to apply. Otherwise, if they find out, then there will be a big problem. You can even go to jail.
So with your sheets, one A4 application.
Yeah, one application is required in case you have made major changes. If you remove the wall and put windows, that is okay.
So one required equal section line. One section is
No, I said 4 sections. Each group of 4 people will get together and decide the place where they are cutting the sections.
for tomorrow's submission.
And they have to put those sections side by side. 4 sections.
So we'll get
Like,
a.
yeah, what? This section is only this one.
Oh, but then suppose in my section you can see a building, but in the rest of the three it is just.
So the 4
You
have to agree
decide
which
a
is the best
section
place.
line through the whole thing.
You have to decide which is the best place.
You can't stagger the section.
No.
Not good rest.
Section line is a section line.
Staggering is not.
I'll pass it share camera. I will be free in some 5 minutes.
It has to be straight. Yeah? So tomorrow you will have those sections.
Oh, so I will just be free in 5-10 minutes. Ouch.
You're okay? No, I'm asking you. All right.